My name is Niem Green. I am the CEO and founder of CreditScoreDating.com as well as Greenwalk Media Group and Interactive Daydream. It actually started with my first book, Daydreams and Success. See, professionally, I'm known around the world as the Daydreaming Mogul. I act my dreams out with open eyes. Now, that's based on a quote that I live by. That's those who dream by day. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind wake to find that it was all vanity. But those who dream by day are dangerous men, for they may act their dreams out with open eyes to make it all possible. So you'll find that a lot of my companies and things that I write about all have to do with daydreams. That is, acting dreams out, by day. So with that, my first book was Daydreams and Success, the Daydreaming Mogul's Guide, Volume 1. I just wanted to give my fans and readers and just the public a guide, just that simple, on how to dream with open eyes and define success and act it out. That's how I got started, and I fell in love with the reader's response and connecting with the public through words, and also just writing. It was therapy for me. So, I guess my most successful business, or the business that I'm most known for, is CreditScoreDating.com, where what we do is we match we match singles based on credit scores and financial compatibility, right? So it's like a Match.com or eHarmony or something to that sort. But what we do is we attack the number one cause of divorce and separation, which is finance up front. Um, it's it comes from my background in banking. I've been I was an underwriter for probably about 15 years or so. I've been in the lending industry, where I was a matchmaker for bank and borrower, and it was just a question. Businesses finding a problem, right, and just attacking that problem. So it was like the problem is finance and relationships. So as I was taught as an underwriter, as a credit analyst, in credit and lending, we are actually the first step in collections. So in relationships, why not attack the largest problem in relationships first, which is finance? So we went and did it, and that was 2006 is when I started CreditScoreDating.com, which then brings us up to 2016 when we released the Daydreaming Mogul's Guide, Volume 2, Credit Score Dating. It's kind of amazing to me, whereas I'll be the first one to tell you I was a little bit scared of my own idea. I was a little ashamed of my own idea, and it was a lesson in itself in that you should never doubt yourself. There's no the old adage, there's no such thing as a dumb idea, right? Um, the reception that I've received globally now to date, my site, my brand, and myself has been in front of 3 billion people with a B, right? Um, People are saying that I've revolutionized the $2.3 billion online dating industry, right? Readers, my readers are like, you single-handedly saved our marriage, because people in relationships, they gain from the knowledge that we have in the book, because we talk about, you might be in a situation and you just never had that conversation, even in that relationship. You haven't had and it's the most important conversation you need to have. One of our taglines is credit score dating. It all starts with a number, you know, and that it's about what does that number say? Now, granted, it may say some great things, it may say some bad things, but the thing about it is, my thing is with starting the site and writing a book, it was have that conversation. So I wrote the book in a way. Just like the first book, it's a guide. It's not something that's like a 700-page book. It's something light, something that you can carry around, something that it's a great talking piece, a conversational piece. Really, I wanted it to be something that singles can find very beneficial, as well as couples. So the reception has been. Matter of fact, I had a couple come to me and tell me that I actually saved their marriage, which was crazy, and we're starting to do some workshops and things based on the book. What it is what credit score dating has grown to become. It's not just a dating site anymore, right? And that's one of the things that I talk about. And I felt that it was very important for me to write this book. It was to explain. Like I've done a lot of interviews. I've been on virtually every major news source in the world. But the question still remains the same. It's like, what is credit score dating? What does credit have to do? What's credit have to do with it, right? So what we found is that, as we speak right now, currently, we're updating our site and we're making it to where it's a resource. Because one of our taglines is also creditscoredating.com, where good credit is sexy. So the question is always posed, well, what if my credit's not sexy? How do I bring the sexy back? You know, and even when we're in a relationship. So through these workshops, I'm going to have some of our strategic partners, some of our sponsorships, some of our friends, some of our relationship counselors, some of our financial planners, some of our local banks and what have you. They're going to come out and they're going to talk to those in need. You know, we're going to get to the point where they're actually able to analyze the credit, show them the areas of opportunity, show them the areas of strength, because both are important, especially in a relationship. And I found in going speaking with some of my members, some of my readers and fans and what have you, those who are not who weren't really up on credit score dating, so to speak, or didn't even know they were doing it, or what have you. There's always kind of like a imbalance. So you'll have someone who might have like a perfect credit score and someone who will have like a rough credit score, right? So my thing is, you need to acknowledge the strength and then acknowledge the weakness, you know. And where someone's strength may be on the credit side, someone's strength may be somewhere else. So acknowledge both sides and then come together and work out a plan to where you both can be where that weakness is, it's a combined strength, and vice versa. No, that's not true. That is one of the biggest misconceptions about credit and relationships. Because there's no, and the only way that'll happen is if the two parties co-sign. You know, they have a mutual agreement together.
Okay.
Right? So if you have a credit file and your wife or your girlfriend have a credit file, they're two separate entities. So there's no way legally for those to merge. The only way, and that would only be on that one particular trade, right? So if you guys co-sign or do a joint account, mortgage, car, credit card, whatever, and then the patterns of the negative or the positive, that's what's going to show, right? Not anything from your past or whatever, you know. But it gets a little more complex. Like the patterns of the stronger tend to be influential of the weak, than the weaker. So if you're the stronger person and you have the worst credit habits, your habits could then turn their habits, so they could start to have fall into a pattern. But conversely, if you have the stronger credit and you're that stronger person in that relationship, hopefully those habits would go and actually enhance and influence that person's weaker credit habits. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. We talk about financial role play, right? So you get with you get with your significant other, even in the dating stage. If you're in a point, first and foremost, if you're in a point where you're considering that this person is going to be a life partner, whether you marriage, not marriage, or if this is somebody you really want to commit to, you need to start doing certain things to figure things out. So financial role play, like you go into a situation where, I say throw some real world events at your relationship. Let's get into it. Let's say, hey babe, we make this together now. We have this in savings. I lose my job. What do we do? You know what I mean? This happens then. And then I say use historical events. I hate to say it, and I hate to bring up, salt in the wound or whatever the case may be, a 9/11 situation. Because history repeats itself, right? We study history to be prepared for the future. Apply it to the relationship, right? And then the other thing of it doesn't always have to be negative. Again, one of those old adages, we want the house, the two-door home with the white picket fence, the 2.3 kids, or whatever the case may be. Plan for it. How are you going to get there? Role play. Okay, babe, you want to buy, the the meme that says, with the cars, it says his, hers, ours is like a Ferrari, a Mercedes, and like a Range Rover, and it says his, hers. Plan for it. That's financial role play. All right. So if I'm gonna we can be as materialistic and more outlandish as you want to go with it. damn, babe, I want the Ferrari California. Well, we know that's a $300,000-$400,000 car. What's that payment going to look like? If I'm making this and I have this in savings, you're going to have the S600 because you know that's you all day, and then our car will be the Range Rover. Okay, so let's look at the numbers. Let's look at where we are now. What do we have to do? What kind of spending habits and what kind of bill payment habits do we have to have? You know, the readers they loved it. You know, and the response that I'm getting from the book, they love it. I mean, because it's adding something different. You're starting to learn, again, those strengths and those weaknesses in your partners. You're pulling something out of them that's not forthright. They don't just tell you, yeah, I get scared when we worried about, you know, terroristic activities and I might lose my job and, you know, I'm a punk. You know what I mean? Like, or conversely, I didn't know. Like, the one lady, oh my God, she was, and I hate to say this lady was so turned on by how her man was responding, you know, because she said she'd never seen him step up. He was comfortable. He had no reason. He had like 20 years in on the job, nice 401k, so on and so forth. She said she got bored. But when he stepped up and said, well, listen, I will do this, and this. I'm going to make sure I'm going to hold this down. You know what I mean? I'll get out here. Don't get it twisted. While this has been my industry for so many years, I'm ready to go ahead and learn this and go do this to make sure that we put this away, you know. And then conversely, there was a lady who said, you didn't know, you always thought that I put this money away in a drawer for me to go shopping or whatever. No, this is just in case because I've been watching the news. We're trained, it's taboo to talk about money, but money runs the world, and money is the number one cause of divorce. So I think we need to change that, and that's what I'm trying to do with the book. We need to push that envelope. Well, and it's funny you say that because I get this all the time. People be like, Naeem, from everything, and I mentioned a couple of different comedies, you know. I do. I said, Naeem, we sit back and look at your whole circle. Everything is connected in what you do. And it's the thing. It's like real recognize real, you know. And so I connect and I live my life holistically as I can, where I connect everything. Something that I would do, I practice what I preach or whatever. So it flows naturally for me. A lot of people don't know, or some people, well, people closest to me know, I'm a hopeless romantic. Writing is therapy to me, as I mentioned before. So and I love to teach. I love to enlighten and empower, you know, as a motivational speaker and author and so on and so forth. So for me to write about something I'm passionate about and actually make a guide, it was not only was it easy, it felt great. And it felt like I finally had a voice. Now, people say that's crazy when you go on TV shows and you know 30 million people will pop and whatever the case may be. It's different. Because, you know, I control my words. I can control exactly, I can get my point across. And it's like with the readers, you know, we spend time together now. Now you're in my mind. And it's kind of like now from traveling the world and everything, and I'm hearing the questions and the feedback from the site and, you know, so on and so forth, I kind of know what you're asking me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write these answers. And they know how to get at me if they have further questions. So it's like we're really starting this conversation. It's almost like I'm dating my readers now. Absolutely. And it's important not only in the reading piece of it, and like I said, everything is holistic with me, right? So when I give speeches, when we write the book, I'm going to tell you a story. In some parts of the story, you be like, man, this is entertaining. Where are we going? And then when we bring it all the way back at the end and we summarize it all the way up, because sometimes if I stay on one particular topic too long, it's like, okay, this is kind of boring. No. I need to entertain. I need to give you some anecdotes. If we go straight on if I say, listen, we're going to go on a train ride. We're going to go from Philadelphia here to California, but it was just a flat run with no mountains, no peaks, no valleys, no rivers, no nothing. You'd be like, man, I'm not getting in that train with you. Like, that's boring.
Right.
But now we know that it's peaks and valleys, mountains, rivers, lakes, you know what I'm saying, different weather patterns and everything else. You're like, oh, I'm with it. I would love to see all of that. That's how I got to tell my story, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, right? That's how that's how I have to give my speeches, right? I have to tell you a nice story. I have to give you some anecdotes, personal anecdotes from my members, my fans and my followers, right? From my family, you know. That's what we do. So the reader, they know, okay, we're going to get to California, But what exciting way are we going to go to get there? That's what they don't know. Oh, absolutely, because it's like current events, especially now, the day that we live in, things happen so fast and so quick. You know, it's just like just as fast as you swipe your card and the authorization hits and clears out the amount that it was going for. Something can happen and literally clear out or change the need for you to tighten up your credit, a need for you to get more credit, have access to it, or increase your saving habits, or to deplete your savings. Like things happen so fast, so you should almost absolutely always pay attention to what's going on in the news, good or bad. Right. Whether it's an IPO that's a good look for you to go ahead and invest in, or God forbid, some kind of world event or some kind of terroristic attack, whatever the case may be, because it controls so many other things, like our jobs, right? Even as a business owner, like I had a conversation with some of my sponsors, right? And they're like, nah, this quarter is horrible. And it was from, I'm not going to put them out there, but it was from somebody, a company that you would not expect them to utter those words. And it's crazy because it's like, if they're impacted on such a high level, you got to wonder, and I'm speaking to executives now, right? So if they're impacted on such a high level, you got to wonder, what about that entry level guy? That guy who's out there spending? You know what I'm saying? Should he be spending right now? And that news, I can almost assure you, has not reached him yet. The current events, things that have happened before I walked into that office, I saw them on the news, and it was like, okay, I already know this meeting's. I know where this meeting's about to go right now. Absolutely. We actually cover a lot in the book, and it's kind of and it's crazy in its little form, and I'm going to build on that. And like I said, it's complementary to the other things that we want to do, because I want to be as interactive. Since this book has been out, I've been out of the office. Like people have been seeing my face a lot more, just because the nature of being interactive with it. Like it is so important. But as far as other pieces to it, I'm trying to show people in real time. Like a lot of people don't realize that. I have a fiction, actual novel out as well too, called Fallen Soldiers. But I'm going to tie the two together. So I'm in the process of writing a novel called For Love or Credit, right? So I'm going to bring it together and show you what it looks like, in more of a. Sometimes you got to go into that world to make people more comfortable, So I'm going to show you what it looks like, from a more of a more entertainment, so it's edutainment, I guess, so to speak, right? Because a lot of people, and I've shared this story before, I shared it in the book, a lot of people think that the basis of my site, my book, and everything is finance, whether it's me getting rich or money or whatever, or just no. It's really love. Like I said, I'm a hopeless romantic. It comes from the story of my grandparents. Like I said, in the book, they were together 50 some odd years, literally till death did them part, right? And I took the time and I looked at their relationship. My grandma was the homemaker. My grandfather, he went out and he worked every day, right? Came home, bring the check. She took the check, she managed the funds. When I say she managed it though, I mean, she had stocks and everything. I mean, she would be considered like a day trader today, the way she ran it. Now, what that did was 4 kids, went to college, no student loans, house paid off, new car every 2 years, never an auto loan. You understand? More importantly, you never hear about, I've never witnessed any kind of, I've never heard them raise their voice, except for my grandpa going, when he come home from work, yo, Peg, call her, let him know her man's home. That's what I'm trying to get back to. You see, you eliminate the biggest problem, finance. You can spend, if you figure, do some numbers. You figure we spend at least 40 hours a week trying to chase the finance, right? We come home, we tired. Then if we spend 80% of our relationship problems are finance, 20% is miscellaneous stuff. But 80% financial problems in our relationship after spending 40 hours a week trying to build the finances, how do any of our relationships have a chance? But if you can eliminate that from the jump, right? Just listen, and I'm not saying, you can only be with somebody with an 800. I'm saying have the conversation. Look, baby, I got a 400 credit score. I want to get to an 800. You know, I see you have an 800 credit score. Help me get there. Be that yin to my yang. Let's be strong together. So you can get to spending now what would be 80%. Now 20% is now 80%. And that could be just time. Let's spend all the time we got together, you know. Let's go on trips and stuff. So you can come in the house with, whatever your girl's name is, whatever the case, may be, right? That's what I'm trying to get to. So I'm going to do that through the entertainment side of things with the For Love or Credit, the novel. First and foremost, a lot of people don't realize that I'm the first black-owned online dating site. I'm the first black-owned fintech company, so to speak, if you want to take it there, because it's credit and dating or whatever. So it's leading by example. So they're excited to see some of the accolades that I've, gained and some of the things that I've done, and for me to be who I am, be young, I'm black. And so they're like, okay, maybe I'll pay some attention. Let me see what he's talking about, or he knows what he's talking about. So at first I thought, well, because we do stigmatize ourselves a lot, unfortunately. A lot of times we are our own worst enemies, right? He's got to be a nerd because he has good credit, right? He's focused on his job, so he's lame and he's this and that, so on and so forth. So unfortunately, I find that it's not the case, and I'm trying to dispel those stigmas every chance that I get. A lot of people, you talking about years of being in credits and reviewing millions of credit files and so on and so forth. Black, white, whatever, there's a strong balance. Of course, naturally you'll find more white people with higher credit score just because there are more white people. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just, if there's more people in your sample, of one particular race, they're going to have more higher credit every time. That's just the sample. But so I'm going out and I'm spreading that as much as I can. We've started programs to help educate, and with my partners and so on and so forth, my strategic partners, we go to where the need is, right? We go to, it's not about attracting so much as the consumer, who can pay us. It's the need to, who needs to learn, because it's sad when we learn that a lot of people don't really understand credit. I can tell you that when I started underwriting at the bank, I was making decisions on credit, but I didn't understand credit enough for myself, to the point where I had, I think, like $7,400 in credit available to me from the bank that I worked at. I tore my credit up just because I didn't know. I was ignorant. So with that, under that notion, this is why I'm putting together programs in the city to help us and so on and so forth. I'm understanding and that making sure that correlation exists between credit and committed relationships. What we do, first things first. I want to say, you want to make sure that a lot of times we're worried about paying our bills. That's the biggest thing. We got to pay the bills, pay the bills, pay the bills. But the most important bill never gets paid. That's us. We need to set the line item up for ourselves. Set ourselves up with a bill. Now, what to do with that bill, we need to plan. What that plan is only determined by that person or those people. Whether it's, do you have kids? Do you want to have kids? You need property? Whatever the case may be, set yourself up so you can be comfortable. Set yourself up. So take some time out for you. Daydream. Put a dream together. Act that dream out with open eyes and define what success. See, the problem is a lot of us, we don't take time to determine what success is to us. We let success be defined by our peers, by television, by radio, by celebrities, by everybody else. But if we sat back and actually listen to our better halves, listen to ourselves even, mainly, really, to see what is success to me. What really makes me feel accomplished? At that point, once you reach that, then you can move on to the other stuff. See, money is not important. Money is a tool. Money is a vehicle. Money is not the end all be all. Money means absolutely nothing. Money is worthless. Money is only empowered by us, putting power and putting something in, putting this value on it. But it means absolutely nothing, because at the end of the day, money literally can't put a smile on your face. It's what you do with it, however. You need to determine what success is to you. Plan. And then with that bill that you pay yourself, use that plan to determine. See, because I can't sit here and say, oh man, you need to buy about 6, 7 properties, get some rental income going in this way, boom. Then you want to go ahead and get I can tell you that all day, but that may not be success to you. That may have a residual income of $10,000 a month. I can tell you how to do that all day long. But if that's not may not be happiness to you. What if I get you to an extra $10,000 a month in residual income, but you have bills of $11,000 a month? You still $1,000 in the hole. I didn't help you. But what if, again, more importantly, how do you get to the $11,000 in expenses? You need to figure that out. Is that because you're successful by having a Bentley outside, having six houses and this lavish lifestyle, but you realize that you're not really happy? See, that's why it's important to daydream and determine what success is to you. And then you put a plan together. Don't ever focus on what your result is. Focus on why you're doing something. Then you believe in why you're doing it. Then you get others to believe in why you're doing it. The results will come. That's the blueprint. Your blueprint is this. Your smile. There's your blueprint. It don't matter what our blueprints look like. At the end of the day, if your end result is that smile, you got a good blueprint. So the question should then be, why are you smiling? How did you smile? How can I smile? That's in you. This is what I did. These are the steps I took to learn what makes me smile. And as far as the death goes and all of that stuff, right. I tell my people all day, I don't care what y'all do when I'm out of here. It's what I'm doing now. Just remember everything that I did now. Make sure my legacy continues to go. And that's why I fell in love with books. Because my words will be here forever.
That's right.
You know what I mean? You can always, don't go visit no grave. I'm not talking to you. And I'm sorry, no disrespect to anybody who may be, that's fine. Find a certain peace with that. But go pick up one of my books when I'm gone. And and that's how I write the way I write, like just like you and I are conversing. Because I want you to, because those are my words. I live through those. But if I give you a blueprint on how to have something that's timeless, that can withstand weather, that can withstand time, that can withstand anything and everything, what's more valuable to you? That's what I'm about, man. I am the Daydreaming Mogul on pretty much everything, except for Twitter. For whatever reason, that was too long, so I'm Daydream N, no G, Mogul. Instagram, Daydreaming Mogul. Facebook, The Daydreaming Mogul. Let's see, you go to daydreamsandsuccess.com, creditscoredating.com. Got a new one launching this year. I think it's already up. StyleMyDate.com. We match people up based on fashion. Yeah, we can get a little shallow too. But anyway. No, we got books in stores everywhere. We're in over 100-something countries, 30, 40,000 retailers, ebooks, all that good stuff. Let's see. We're going to run this down. Daydreams and Success, The Daydreaming Mogul's Guide, Volume 1. That's everywhere. I think that's only print now for whatever reason. Anyway, okay. Fallen Soldiers to Rise. That's my novel. That's out. Check that out. Fallen Soldiers to Rise. And then finally, Credit Score Dating. Well, I'm sorry. The Daydreaming Mogul's Guide, Volume 2. Credit Score Dating, The Sexiness of Credit. That's everywhere. Oh, my algorithm. The guy who actually, the thing actually that matches everybody up. He's on Twitter too and Instagram. Credit Cupid is his name.